everyone, my name's Oonagh Murphy. I'm based in Belfast. I'm an arts manager, writer and lecturer. I specialise in digital innovation in the cultural sector, which sounds really fancy. Essentially, I help small businesses, small arts organisations, artists be more digitally savvy on really tiny budgets. So a lot of my research, I've just finished a PhD about a year ago, but a lot of my research looked at scalability, so looking at the likes of Tate in London and the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, and looking at kind of best practice models, but how you scale those down to the artist in their studio that has a marketing budget of £5, or the small arts organisation whose general manager is also their marketing person and is also their operations person. So to finish up today, my presentation takes a slightly different angle. It's a bit more get out there and do it. We've heard lots of really interesting stuff today about strategy and about that kind of like business plan and business development, that kind of longer term stuff. So to end today, I kind of thought I would look more at an angle of like how you get out there and do it. So my title of the presentation, how to make awesome digital content. I think there's a fear out there around digital where you have to be a designer or developer to do digital. But actually, with your smartphone, you can set up the most amazing different digital tools and platforms to put yourself up there on the same platforms as the Met in New York or Tate in London. There's this real equalizer with digital technologies that we're all on the same platform, and it's the first time it's ever happened. So what's the point of making awesome digital content if you're an artist or a creative entrepreneur? It's business focused. It's to get noticed online, to stand out. Quite often whenever I meet creative companies, they feel like this. They've jumped in, they've jumped online, they've joined Facebook, they've got a website, they've got Twitter, they've jumped in, but they've no direction, and they feel a bit like this cat, which I'm quite proud of. I found him the other day. I look at cat gifs a lot for research purposes, but I hadn't seen this one before. Or quite often they feel like this man down here. They've joined the crowd, they've joined Twitter, they've joined Facebook, they've joined Instagram, but they're a voice in a crowd of 1,000. And they're one of 1 million artists on Facebook. They really struggle to get their message out there. And actually what they want is everybody in that crowd turning around to look at them. And that sounds really difficult to do, but it's actually surprisingly easy. So quite often there's a real focus on platform. You know, you'll quite often get asked, oh, you're in Facebook, you need to be in Facebook, or you need to be in Twitter. I think the current one at the minute is, are you on Instagram? You need to be on Instagram. Everybody's on Instagram. There's no point being on the platform unless you have brilliant content that's going to make people look at you. And I think content is the thing that we often overlook, which is crazy because creative entrepreneurs, artists, those working in the creative industries, content is what we should really be excelling in. Content is the thing that comes easy to us, but everybody gets so bogged down in digital and gets really intimidated by a website or Facebook and Twitter that they skip the most important thing, the most interesting thing, the storytelling thing, the thing that they're really good at. So content, what makes good content? Content that stands out from the crowd and will make your work stand out from the crowd is content that is likable, shareable, interesting, intriguing, shocking, funny, exciting. It's the type of thing that you share with your friends. One of my friends is here today, and we're constantly sending each other BuzzFeed articles back and forward. And I often say to people, write like a BuzzFeed writer. If anybody doesn't know what BuzzFeed is, I apologise because you will now procrastinate for about an hour a day. It's brilliant. But it's written with digital culture in mind. It's written with people who have 5-minute tea break that want to find out something interesting or quirky, or that they can kind of send to their friends and go. I think one of their kind of common ones is how you know you're in your late 20s, or how you know you've just hit 50. And it's a list of kind of like different things that were cool when you were growing up. But they have that likability, that shareability. You can empathize and relate to it. And content's really important. So actually, almost my talk today is saying, great, if you're on Facebook and Twitter, that's brilliant, but you need to step it back and you need to look at what you're doing and what you're putting on those platforms. So I'm just going to talk through a couple of case studies today of people I think are doing it really well. Is there anybody from Shell's in today? No? Okay, it's relatively close, so I thought I'd just ask. I've never been to Shell's Cafe, but I really want to go because they're totally killing it on social media. They just have this really amazing brand, and they really focus, there's kind of a general narrative throughout everything they do that's adventure and community. So I follow them on Instagram. I think I found them on Instagram, but then I followed them on Facebook and Twitter because their posts always make me smile. And I've actually found they're always posting kind of different products that they stock. So there's a jewellery range called Arty Smarty, which I found through their Instagram page. So I've never been to Shell's Cafe, but actually they're promoting kind of local designers, and I now follow them, and I have a few of their necklaces. But if you look at what they're doing it on their mobile phone. Like simple things like community. So they've kind of, they're looking new staff. They've got a picture of who they are. There's so much focus on, like selling products, selling a necklace you've made or a service that you have. But actually, the reason that your product costs a premium, the reason that your necklace is more expensive than a necklace from Primark is because you made it in your studio in a seaside town in Ireland. And all of those components add value to your product. And Shells do this really well because that sense of personality, that sense of place, that sense of community all comes across in their Instagram feed. And it makes you want to go and hang out by the seaside. But really simple things, like they've taken a picture of the seaside and they've put it in a heart shape. That turns what would have been a really probably quite drab seaside scene into something a bit quirky and nice. Again, there's 2 flowers and they've just added the words Hello Spring in the middle. If they had written Hello Spring as a Facebook status, nobody would have noticed it. But now they have this lovely little image that makes you kind of go, oh, that's quite nice, I like that. Then the other one is a company based in Belfast called Tea and Toast. Tea and Toast is a t-shirt company. The girl that runs it is an illustrator, and she's based out of St. George's Market. But her stuff's lovely. But there's a real value in her stuff because I follow her on Instagram. So I see her in the studio, wrapped up on cold winter's days with, tweeting photographs of all her layers on. Her cats rule the internet generally. Cats generally get likes and sharing. It's good to know. Her cat features quite regularly in everything that she does. She's constantly posting photos of her cat sitting on top of freshly printed t-shirts saying, my helper's not helping again. But I feel like I know her. I feel like I've got a brand affinity. And if I have £15 to spend on a t-shirt, I'm more likely to spend it on her t-shirt because I feel like I know her than giving it 15 quid to Primark. And actually, that is the differential. Yes, it's your product and your quality of your product, but actually, in terms of the added value, in terms of the fact that your product as a handmade item is more expensive, you need to flag up the personality elements of it. And I think Tea and Toast do it really well. I was going to play this video, but I feel like that'll just lead to chaos. Might break the technology, so I'll not. This is a really nice video, though. It's by a company or a guy called Hand Drawn Creative. But he basically just takes you on a tour of his studio, and there's a video of him drawing stuff. But then he puts everything that he's posting out to clients in a little wheelbarrow, and he trails it through the town centre and then brings it to the post office. And it's just a video of him showing you the full cycle of him creating it, to him wrapping it, to him posting it. And again, that kind of shows a client, this isn't just something, that I drew really quickly and sent out. It shows you the love and attention, the focus, and the time, and the fact, that the guy that drew it for you, the guy that, painted that for you, is also the guy that wrapped it and brought it to the post office. This is another one that I found recently that I really like. Chapter 1. This is a mum who got really annoyed because her daughter, son, I think she's a couple of kids. Yeah, mum to Eva, Ollie, Frank. Oh, she's got lots of kids. But yeah, over the course of 4 kids, they kept ripping her necklaces off when she was breastfeeding or pulling her earrings. So she set up this business. The only problem about this business is it's a victim of its own success because it's always blooming out of stock. And I've been trying to get necklaces for about the last 2 months. Apparently, they're getting restocked next week. She makes them out of her home in Wales, but they're food-grade silicone. So you can actually put the necklaces in your... not washing machine, dishwasher. Total brain freeze. So you can put it in your dishwasher. So it means that the kids can pull away and they're not going to break because they're kind of on these kind of safety ropes. But also if they're chewing away, they're hygienic because you can put them in the dishwasher. And her necklaces, I think they're about £10 to £20 mark. But actually, her company came out of her family. So her family are very much part of her story. So her Instagram feed, there's just loads of photos of babies chewing on necklaces. So people will quite often send her pictures saying, got my package today, whatever the name of the kid is, loves it. And her Instagram's just filled with happy babies chewing on her necklace. Really simple, really cute photographs, but they tell a story and they make her necklaces stand out. And actually, to be honest, one of my friends bought her friend one because she just had a kid, but then bought herself one because she really liked it. And they're really high quality, just really nice necklaces. And then this is a company, I Am Acrylic. I really love acrylic jewellery. And they just kind of have a very personal angle to their storytelling, to what they do online. You know, like I feel like these are kind of like hashed off their website in different components, but you know, like this is our daily view of London. You know, it's really interesting to go, like, imagine that was your studio. Imagine looking out in that every day. These are Ruth's tools. I think that's really interesting. You pick up a necklace and you don't really think too much about it, but just on their homepage, they have a section where they show you their tools, and it's just quite nice. And then they've got like those nice little doodly elements, you know, like kind of like the little comments and like a kind of comedy introduction to who they are. So digital culture, which is all of those shiny things like dancing polar bears, cats, babies, comedy, and your product is what the key to brilliant content is. It's the key to people wanting to share your content. I'm just going to put it out there. I think the polar bear really somebody should put their jewellery on the polar bear. I think it would be a really nice piece of content. That's something that's already viral. That's something that's already all over the internet. Use it, see what's popular, and put your content on top of what you know is successful. You know, it would take you all of about 2 minutes to whack some jewellery on that polar bear, but I can guarantee that you will get hundreds of shares because everybody will be like, oh, the dancing polar bear that was big last year has been updated. Yeah, I think my career aspiration is to get something in BuzzFeed. So if anybody puts jewellery on the polar bear and ends up in BuzzFeed, I will salute you. Yeah, that's your mission. Digital content sounds really fancy, and all of those case studies I've showed you, I'm sure you're sitting there going, that's great, but I don't have time for that. It sounds expensive. What's the point? Do I really need to be online? I don't have time for that. What if I make a mistake? Standard responses every time I walk into a client, the client being the person like the cat stuck in the jar walking around in circles. So I've pulled together some ways to create awesome digital content for under a $5 because I feel like no matter how small your company is, everybody has a $5 that they can commit to their marketing budget. So most of the things I'm talking about today are apps, but at the end I've got a few that are web-based because I know not everyone in the world has a smartphone. This app here, Foster, is one of my favorites. I love it. This over here is an invite that I sent to my friend's hen party. It took me about 2 minutes to create. Foster is a tap and touch or drag platform. So you go in and you'll find these are all templates. You click what one you want. It opens up an image gallery like this. You then tap it and you go into your photos and you can put your image in the background. You then go in and lay the text over. Now the great thing about Foster is look at all these beautiful templates. They look amazing. You don't need to be a graphic designer to be able to use it. And I've produced loads of things, and people have said, oh, who designed that up for you? It is totally doing graphic designers out of a job, so I do apologize to those members of the audience. But for people working out of a shed that don't have a marketing budget, Foster's an incredible tool. So it's designed, you know, for posters, but you can also just do a screen grab, and you can upload content onto Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of the social feeds. It's $150. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's one of my favorite tools that I use quite a lot. iWatermark's another one. Visual's really important on social media, and if you're constantly putting photographs up, a really good way to kind of reinforce your brand or your name so that it's in people's heads is to put a watermark on. Now, when I say a watermark, I don't mean like a copyright, don't steal my stuff watermark. I mean more like a marketing watermark. So here, like this is Belfast Festival, have used this kind of approach, or Chogs, which is a surf shop in Portrush in Northern Ireland. And actually, they really add value to those images. They kind of make them look a little bit more professional. So rather than just kind of like a snap on your phone, instantly just adding a watermark image, which is your logo, kind of creates like a bit of brand affinity, and people will look at it and go, oh, that's such and such, rather than just skimming past it. But again, so you can see this is all very like touch and drag and quite nice kind of layout. This is another one. This one's used quite a lot by bloggers. I use it quite a lot to make silly images and sometimes for professional stuff. It's called A Beautiful Mess. It's 69p. It's lovely. I don't know if I have another idea. So like it allows you to put borders on. It allows you to write words. You can write your own words, but it also comes custom built with kind of like words like road trip or, you know, kind of like hello that you can kind of drag in. But just really nice way to add depth to a photograph. So quite often a good photograph is well lit and taken on a good camera. If you're in a dark studio and you're taking it on your iPhone, these apps are a really good way to add depth and make your kind of poor quality photographs really stand out amongst the kind of digital crowd. But again, this is kind of, you know, like tap and drag. So if you want a doodle, you click the doodle button and you get a selection. You add it on and then you can drag around where you want it. Over similar, not as kind of bloggy and cool, but a bit more sharp edge, just lets you add text over images. So again, like this is Sydney Festival have done this kind of approach where they've added their hashtag over some of their images. And again, it's just that kind of thing. If people are flying through Facebook, flying through Instagram, Twitter, and they can kind of clock your name on top of the item, it's going to reinforce who made that item. So the two kind of work really well together in that kind of view of digital culture, people skim reading stuff really quickly. But yeah, so, and the other thing as well I say about all of these platforms, they're all on Instagram because they're visual. So there's loads of really good examples that you can see how people are using them really well, which is quite nice. And these are some ones that they have up. But yeah, just like, none of those photos are incredible, but they look really good by adding a bit of text over them. These are a few kind of more recent ones that I've added in, and some of them are web-based as well, actually, which is quite nice. I quite like using my phone to create stuff or my iPad to create stuff, but I know some people are kind of more computer-based. Canva's really nice. It's a similar kind of thing. You upload your photograph, and then you can pull text over it, and you can do images and icons and stuff. It's quite nice. Party's a really fun one. It lets you do create like animated GIFs or like stop motion videos. And again, I think it's like 60p, but it lets you create these really, really nice kind of like animated videos that would be great to show the making process. And you know, for 60p, if you use it once, it's probably the cheapest like marketing video you're ever going to produce. Meme creator is, for anybody who doesn't know, a meme is a picture on the internet that has text kind of overlay it. They're generally quite funny. If you have any topic and you Google image search the word and meme, you'll find thousands. Meme creator lets you create your own as well. And the other one I don't have in here, but I recommend to quite a lot of people that aren't that digitally savvy. I love PowerPoint. I think PowerPoint is an absolutely brilliant image editing tool that is completely overlooked. Drag and drop and click and add, and you can group images, and you know, PowerPoint's really good, and it's completely overlooked because everybody's on Photoshop, which is great. But if you don't know how to use Photoshop, I highly recommend that you rethink about PowerPoint as an image editing tool. Okay, so if you combine the kind of the case studies that we looked at alongside those tools, you can very quickly see how you can turn digital culture and your product into brilliant content. So I think the challenge really for everyone going away from today is that when you're putting content online, you need to be more like cats on the internet. You need to be creating content that's likable, it's shareable, it's interesting, it's intriguing, it's shocking, it's funny, and it's engaging. And actually, it's a really, really good kind of way to frame what you do on the internet. Look at what's successful. Cats are really successful on the internet. They're kind of a big deal. So do what cats do. Take their lead. And I think this is a really interesting point. In a media-saturated world, even the greatest works of art struggle to get the attention of visitors. And I love this picture. The Mona Lisa is buried behind lots of people looking at their cameras and their phones. Don't compete with them. Use digital tools. Use this trend to engage with people online. You know, I was laughing earlier. We were in the shop and we were both kind of on our phones. You know, like if I'm in the shop and I'm on my phone, if that shop is also on my phone, then that's kind of like doubly reinforcing, you know, my brand affinity with whatever is being sold. So I think this is my key message in terms of framing what you do online. But also, I think it's quite a good mantra to go by when you're posting stuff. You know, cats are my competition. Is a cat video post going to be better than what I'm posting? Are my friends more likely to share the cat video that's below my post than my piece? If the answer is yes, then you need to go away and rethink it, and you need to make your image funnier, or more likable, or more shareable, or more exciting, or more shocking. That's me. Thank you very much.